Believe it or not, we're actually getting super close to the Switch 2. That sounds so weird because I literally remember when the original Nintendo Switch just came out. Like, it feels like just the other day. But anyway, me feeling old aside, obviously I know that it's not going to be called the Nintendo Switch 2. Well, it might be. We might gloss over that in this video. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to call it the Nintendo Switch 2. Another reason as to why I think calling it the Switch 2 makes sense as a placeholder is because I'm struggling to see where Nintendo would take this idea. Because the Switch was such a top tier idea, I myself am struggling to think, okay, how can they take this to the next level? I'm sure they'll come up with something and I'm sure it will be great. As long as they don't market it in the same way as the Wii U, we should be good. I love the Wii U, by the way, but it's just the advertising wasn't very good, but we digress. Honestly, I have absolutely no clue what gimmick or what idea they have for the next console. It could literally be anything. It could be totally left, like the design of the PS5, or it could be an expansion of what we already had, basically the Switch 2. For the time being, because the Switch is doing super well, Nintendo can see that it's doing super well, and the fact that we're struggling to figure out where to even take this idea to take it to the next level, we'll call it the Switch 2 for now. Speaking of the form factor, there is actually a good chance that we might still get an LCD screen over an OLED. Now, I know that this will be a big missed opportunity because obviously Nintendo recently released the Nintendo Switch OLED. Well, it's the more recent version of the Nintendo Switch, so it would have made more sense to make that as the base version of this next system. In my personal opinion, it doesn't really make too much of a difference to me. I feel like the Nintendo Switch games already look amazing on handheld mode anyway. Games like Zelda, Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, even the Splatoon games look really good on the original Switch. I still have my original Switch, so I don't think it will be a massive deal breaker, especially when it comes to the casual audience side of things. But I do think it is a missed opportunity when you do keep in mind that Nintendo has done better with the upgraded version of the Switch being the OLED. And also, if you compare the original Switch to the OLED, it makes the original LCD version not look as good as the OLED for obvious reasons. The OLED it just performs better in every way. It is better in every way. It's more colourful. So as long as you don't look at them back to back, there shouldn't be too many issues. With that, we might still get cartridges. Now, how big these cartridges will be is still a mystery. I do think they will be a little bit bigger than the Nintendo Switch's cartridges, which would make a lot of sense because they would need to hold more information, and especially if they're upgrading the graphics, which why wouldn't they? Of course, they're probably going to be bigger, right? I was super surprised to see just how tiny the original Switch's cartridges are. They're so small. Like, look at this. This holds an entire high quality game on the Nintendo Switch. Imagine this was Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey. This is the size of it. That's crazy to me. Essentially, I do think that the cartridges will get a little bit bigger, which I think is totally understandable. In terms of the form factor, obviously we're not too sure how that will play out. Obviously Switch 2 hardware wise. I mean, I think bottom line, if it allows us to play these games properly without any issues and it's clearly better than the original Switch, cool, let's do it. Oh, I'm pretty sure this next console is going to be like this, but maybe bigger, maybe bigger controllers as well, maybe more space for a better kickstand. Obviously the OLED has taken this into a much better direction compared to this. I stayed loyal to my Switch, I didn't upgrade, but yeah, I feel like we will be able to switch between portable mode and TV mode. It would make a lot of sense, and it would also entice people to not play the Switch anymore because the new system fills its shoes, right? Also, if you want to talk about controllers, I mean, the Joy-Cons work, and maybe they could be compatible with this future console, like the Wii remotes on the Wii U. But we need new controllers, and please, Nintendo, fix the drift. We do not need any more drift, and I'm hoping that these next controllers that are either attached to the console or just paired with the console do not have the same issue. Here's something that would be super cool: backwards compatibility. From the sounds of it, there's potential that the Nintendo Switch 2 might be compatible with the original Switch. Don't take my word for it, however, that sounds very promising and would be very cool. Unfortunately, the Nintendo Switch doesn't really have backwards compatibility like that. Yes, it does house games from past consoles, but it's not like you can play Wii U games on here or Nintendo Wii or GameCube games on here, for example. I mean, the Wii U one's kind of pointless because pretty much the whole library got ported over. So I guess technically it was, but not in the way that we want it. Obviously, we want to be able to play the games that we've already paid for on previous hardware. Basically what they've done with the PS5 and the PS4. Like, we're able to play PS4 games on the PS5. Would be nice, right? It's definitely a feature that I see fading out of existence in the future, and we need to make sure that that doesn't happen. Like you not subscribing to the channel right now, we need to make sure that that doesn't happen. If you absolutely love video game content, if you love Nintendo, Sega, Rocket League sometimes, you will absolutely love this channel. Let's get to 2k subscribers, let's get it. Okay, so launch title wise, this could basically be any game. Like, we honestly don't know what they have in store. They could bring Nintendo Switch 2 Sports or like Toad Golf. Hopefully something a lot more interesting than those ideas. Like Mario Kart. Like Mario Kart. I mean, it's been a while since the last Mario Kart, and even if you want to count 8 Deluxe, that's 2017, and even if you want to count Mario Kart Tour, that was 2019. We're due another Mario Kart game. I've said this in a couple of videos before, but because it's been so long since we've had a brand new console Mario Kart game, does that mean that we're going to get this next Mario Kart game a lot closer to the launch window of the new console? Because that would be really cool. But also, if you think about this marketing wise, that's very dangerous for everyone else essentially. Everyone buys Nintendo consoles essentially. If you told me that you've never bought a Nintendo Wii in your life, you're lying to me. And I know that it's white on top of that, so don't lie to me. Everyone buys Nintendo consoles. Everyone buys Mario Kart. So imagine you bring out a new Nintendo console that launches with Mario Kart. Okay, let's be realistic here. They're not going to bundle it in unless they make limited editions, but they're not going to bundle it in. Those days are over. But imagine if Mario Kart is like the Breath of the Wild in this generation. As crazy as that sounds. That's a very dangerous start to a console. Quite possibly of all time, because you're taking two massive titans of the video game industry, putting them together, well, not exactly putting them together, but launching them together. Nintendo is going to be swimming in coins, literally. Scrooge McDuck the company.com, honestly, it's going to be good. So to be honest, even from a marketing perspective, if they launch with Mario Kart, that would be absolutely incredible. I've already made a ton of videos talking about a potential Mario Kart 9 and Mario Kart as a franchise and as a whole. So if you want to check those videos out, feel free to do so by obviously clicking on my username so you can check out the rest of my videos. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the potential release date, and having a look at the leaks and the he said she said information. It looks like that it may be releasing in late 2024, which is much earlier than I expected. I thought that was going to get something maybe in 2025, maybe at least announced in 2024, but no, apparently it might get announced at the start of 2024 and released at the end of 2024. Very interesting stuff. Again, it feels really weird. I feel like I feel like a parent who has just let their kid go to uni. It's just like, man, I remember when this kid was just born and now he's all grown up, making his own decisions. Like, maybe I should tell that kid that I have no money to give him because I spent all of my money on that Spider-Man PS5.